back on with Shaun Garvin from Scandia, and we're going to jump back into our Munising Bay fishing report, and I appreciate you hanging around.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
So we've been talking a little bit about how you've been fishing off Sand Point. About 55 feet of water, you said?
Yep.
There's a little ridge in there, kind of?
Yep.
And you've been getting, you said coho, splake, and an occasional steelhead.
Yep.
And you're looking for the smelt still, but you haven't been seeing those this year?
No, haven't. They came through one night right at dark. The graph was loaded, but they weren't biting. They just weren't having it. I don't know. Maybe I'm fishing with the wrong stuff, but you never know.
Well, it's interesting because last year you said you were getting into them in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we would get out. We wouldn't be out there first light. We'd sleep in, go out, and drill your holes, and they'd be there. And at the end of the year, we end up with 1,500 or so.
Wow.
That we kept and cleaned, and so.
Well, let's talk about that because that's interesting to a lot of people. They can't believe that someone would go out and actually hook and line one smelt at a time. So talk about how to do it.
Well, last year we just used a Haley, kind of a brighter colored Haley with just a wax worm.
And how big is this Haley? I mean, explain like the size of it.
Oh, Haley's probably about an inch and a quarter or so. Not the biggest ones they got.
Pretty small.
Yeah, pretty small. We got graphs. Graphs make it the world of difference, but drop it down and where they're at, and then sometimes just dead sticking it, and sometimes just barely jigging it, and then just let it sit, and they'll bite it. And
so do you typically put a waxy on it or something? Or like you said last year, you weren't even using any bait.
Yeah, well, we usually tip it with a wax worm or a spike, something like that. Okay. But a wax worm would last probably 10, 15 fish. I mean, they're pretty hardy, it seemed like. I mean, smelt got little teeth, but they didn't seem to rip it off.
And you just reel them in? There's obviously no fight to them.
No, I mean, it's kind of a greedy man's fish. You can, when they're in and they're biting, you can just one after another, just as quick as you can get it down there and have a blast. Little kids would have a blast. That's why I wish they were in, because then people could go out and have a good time with them.
Well, maybe it'll change. That changes one day to the next, you know. Let's go back to how you're catching these I assume they're Jack Coho.
Oh, yeah.
Are they get any bigger than your typical 18-inch Jack Coho, or are you still talking like carbon copies of each other there?
They're pretty clony. They're about 15, 16s. I mean, they're all keepers, it seems like, but yeah, they're all about that size. And the splake, actually, we've only caught a couple that weren't keepers. So
wow, splake are getting bigger then.
Yeah, the one I caught last weekend, the biggest was 20.
That's a decent-sized splake.
Yeah, and then the other two that were just under that were about 18, 19.
Tell me about that steelhead. What'd you use to get that one?
That was a dead stick and a minnow. Just
same as the coho and the splake, huh?
Yep, just dead stick and everything. Just had it probably halfway down, and only caught 4 fish that day, and that was the last one, and got out there at noon and stayed till 8, and he was the last one to bite, and I didn't time it, but it was about a 20-minute battle, I would have to say, because by myself, and didn't want to lose him once I seen him.
Shaun Garvin from Scandia giving us the details on his fishing on Munising Bay still. So hopefully that ice is still safe, and folks be careful if you're headed out there. But you're saying you think it's going to last a while.
I think it should. As long as that shoreline holds up, we'll be sitting pretty.
This is The Outdoor Show.